This is What's Your Opinion on WVOW Radio, also on WVOWradio.com. Your host for this Friday edition of What's Your Opinion is Mike Collins.
And good morning, good Friday morning to you. Again, this is the Friday edition of What's Your Opinion. I have some wonderful folks with me today. As usual on Friday, I always try to bring in organizations or people who are really going above and beyond the duty when it comes to helping the community. And David, boy, Boone Memorial Hospital is certainly no exception to that at all. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for having us.
So, David, this whole thing about the Black Lung Center has come about. How did that come about?
Well, about 2 years ago, after we moved into our new hospital, we had several folks whose parents had gone to Norton, Virginia to be tested. 2.5 hours down, 2.5 hours back, an hour and a half, 2 hours of testing. A long day. The very same week, one of our board members, Tony Hensley, came to me and said, "Hey, why aren't we doing Black Lung?" With those two people saying, "Hey, we need to do this," our CEO, Virgil Underwood, came to Willie and myself and said, "What do we got to do this?" So Willie and I, we hadn't told him, but we'd been talking about it for 1.5 years, 2 years beforehand, just couldn't get it off the ground. Didn't have the support at that point in time or the information to get it done. We jumped into it, and within 6 months we were certified, ready to go, set up with the Department of Labor, and we were testing within 6 months.
Wow. So folks from West Virginia were having to go out of state in order to get the testing done. That's crazy.
The majority of the people had to travel to Norton.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about what Black Lung is and what it does and why it's important that we have this center.
And so what happens is the rock dust and the coal dust, those tiny particles get way down deep in the lungs, and it starts to cause it to set up like scar tissue, almost like a piece of gristle in a steak. It's real tough and stiff. It doesn't stretch. It doesn't give.
My father was a coal miner briefly, but his father was a coal miner for as long as I knew. And so many people that I grew up knowing, uncles and people who worked in the mines, some of them said that they chewed tobacco for that very reason, to keep the coal particles from going on down in or whatever. But I don't know. I think that may have been more of an excuse than anything. But it's been something that people have been aware of for many years. Does this develop into COPD and things like that too?
Well,
or can it, I should say?
So if a person has black lung, they worked in the mines, they're going to have something, and so they just have to stay on top of it to stay healthy. Most people think that COPD is a smoke-related issue, which would be emphysema. But black lung, emphysema, COPD, is considered to be a problem getting a breath out. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which means you have a difficult time getting air out of the lungs. Black lung is you start to see a restrictive problem, which is a problem getting a breath in. But with that being said, as time goes on, it progresses into an obstructive, black lung progresses into an obstructive problem, which mimics or essentially becomes COPD.
Wow. Now, so you guys have the Black Lung Center. You just had your an event on the 9th. Was it the 9th?
The first.
The first.
March the 1st at Southern Virginia Community College, yes.
It's not even the 9th yet, is it? So the first, and how did that go?
It went pretty well. When we do these outreach events, we typically expect anywhere from 50 to 75 people to show up at these events. Basically what we do is we gather information from them, fill out a claim form, bundle that together, and send it off to the Department of Labor. They process it, finalize it, and if everything is there, then they will schedule testing at the site the miners choose. We've done probably 4 of these outreaches now. We've done 2 in Boone County, 1 in Wyoming County, 1 in Logan County, and 1 in Raleigh County. We have probably had at least 300 people show up, and from that we've had several hundred more call in and say, hey, I couldn't make it, but what do I got to do?
And that event is not the end. I mean, that was just a one event that you're just kicking off and letting people know what you guys do. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
There's the best way would be to contact us at the hospital. You can contact myself or Amy at 304-369-8825. And that's our direct line to the Black Lung Center. And what we'll do is schedule you to come in, and we'll help you. We'll actually complete the claims form for you. And there's a list of items that we need the person to bring with them, which would be a birth certificate, social security card, marriage license, any birth certificate, social security card for any dependents, and a complete work history. And it can be something as simple as writing it out as where you worked at, when you worked there, and what your job was. And you don't have to go to the Social Security office to purchase it. It's quite expensive if you go up to the Social Security office and purchase your work records. And once we complete the application, we mail it into the Department of Labor, and it usually takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks. And the miner will get a packet in the mail telling them or informing them to contact their place of choosing, Boone Memorial Hospital, to schedule their black lung exam. We'll receive the same packet as the miner, instructing us to contact the miner to schedule their exam. So between the two of us, it's a pretty quick turnaround. With federal, you can test at any point, whether you're working or been retired or you've been retired for 30 years. It doesn't matter at any point, and it's important to be tested, because if you're negative this year, which we pray and hope, but if you have black lung, you need to be tested for your health. And as I said, black lung is a slow progressive disease, and you can track that progression and treat that progression. Your main goal was to stay healthy.
David, you got to be extremely excited about this here in the area, because of all the great things that you guys do, for one thing. But this is new territory for the area. I mean, you're doing something that no one's been doing, and I'm sure that the response and the appreciation from the community has been pretty big.
Oh, it has, and we're very excited to have this program going. I mean, if you drive into Madison, the sign says "Welcome to the heart of the $1 million coal fields," and we're trying to give back and help the people in that area. I mean, COPD, black lung, breathing issues of all types are prevalent throughout all of southern West Virginia. We felt like with our new facility that this is just the right thing to do in this area to help these miners who have built the economy and built the areas and the towns around southern West Virginia.
It only makes sense.
Only makes sense. To date, we're amazed. We have filed claims and treated, or tested, I should say, over 750 people in 12 months.
Wow.
Beyond our wildest dreams.
That's Willie, was you expecting that?
Not that many, and it's been a blessing to be able to help all these miners. It's been a wonderful experience. We've met a lot of really, really great people. It's been very nice.
When it comes to black lung, and you talked a little bit about what items that they need to bring whenever they have this and they're interested in it. What does a black lung test consist of?
On the day that they're scheduled, they're with us normally about 2 hours, give or take a little bit. And when they first come into the hospital, they'll register just like they would for anything else. They're going to be sent back to me. We're going to get them signed in, and we're going to take them over, and they're going to do a chest x-ray, just a normal old chest x-ray. But there's a very special doctor that reads it. They're a board-certified B-read radiologist. and they'll read the chest X-ray specifically looking for black lung. We'll do an EKG with them. We'll do a pulmonary function test, which is a breathing test that determines if there's any problems getting a breath in or getting a breath out. And we'll measure if how easily oxygen goes from the lungs and into the bloodstream. It's a very simple process, and no pain there. It's very easy. Now, once we perform those, they'll meet with the doctor, and they'll do a really good, thorough physical on them. Ask them a bunch of questions about their work history and before that, and see what their environment was that contributed to the black lung. And then once the doctor has done that, he's going to call me back into the room with them, and I'll do the dreaded part everybody dreads, which is the blood gases. And that is blood from an artery that actually measures the exact amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide that's in the blood. If we can't breathe, we don't have as much oxygen in our body, and if we can't breathe, we're not able to get the carbon dioxide out. And so carbon dioxide is a poison to our body. And so we do that blood gas, and we're good to people. We can numb them, and we take care of them. And then we'll get them doing an exercise test, kind of like a stress test for heart. We'll get them either on a treadmill or a bike and get them short of breath and get their heart rate up safely. And while they're exercising, we'll do a second blood gas. And that way we can see the difference between just sitting and resting and up actually doing something physical. Because when these guys are sitting, they're okay, but as soon as they get up and start moving around, they're so short of breath, they can't walk 20 feet. They have to stop and rest.
Yeah.
So we want to provide them with a really good test that is going to help them receive their benefits if they have black lung.
And Willie makes it very easy with the blood gas, because he tells me all the time he's the best there ever was doing blood gases. So, and I have no reason not to believe him. So
Well, he wouldn't lie. So
he has not lied to me, as Brandon has not lied to you.
that's right. So again, a lot of people who are listening who are probably very interested, have family members that need this. Again, what's the process? How do they get in touch with you?
They can call us, myself or Amy, at Boone Memorial Hospital, and the phone number is 304-369-8825. And if no one answers, please leave a message. I promise we'll get back to you.
Okay. I'm Mike Collins. Again, with me is David Gresham, Willie Carte, both from the Boone Memorial Hospital. And we're talking about the Black Lung Center, which is new to the area, and so good to see now that we have someone taking care of black lung in the state of West Virginia. I mean, it's especially in our region. Willie, I'm sure there's probably some things that you probably would like to address, because you have a good audience right now. A lot of people who are listening, again, probably either are susceptible to having had black lung, or a family member. What are some of the things you'd like to bring up?
There's three things that I really want to mention. The first one is when you do come for your exam for black lung, it's important that if you've had a chest x-ray or a CT of your lungs, bring that with you on the date of your exam. We can use that as additional evidence to prove your case of black lung. And, a lot of the miners have even had, since they've had such bad breathing problems, they've even had biopsies of their lungs done. And so any additional evidence that the miner can bring will be a huge benefit to their case. And the second thing that I'd like to discuss is a lot of miners says, what is the use in even taking the test? Nobody gets it. That is not true. We have a lot of miners that receive their benefits from taking the black lung exam. But there's a fight to it. If there's a company that you work for they're going to fight you, and they'll make it appear that that this breathing issue was related to something else in your life, and so it's our job to help prove that it's from working in the mines, in or around the mines. We'll say that, and so the company will send them to a company doctor, and they'll take the exact same black lung exam that they take with me, but it's through the company of that the lawyer has chose for them to go to, and at that point, it's probably wise for the miner to have a lawyer, because these companies, they're going to have lawyers, and you got to, not all of us know the laws, and so you need somebody to help you fight your battle. Right. And from my understanding, the lawyers don't charge anything to the miner to help them do this unless they win the case, and if they win their case, and I may be wrong about this, but I think that is somewhere covered from their benefits from the Department of Labor when they get their black lung benefits. And then the third thing that I want to discuss is, a lot of people, they have this problem, they can't breathe, and it's scary enough to be able to breathe. And they stop doing what they used to do. Their quality of life has changed. Right. And so, is there any hope for that? Well, black lung, COPD, you can't change the problem to the lungs. What is there is it's permanently damaged. But we have pulmonary rehab to treat these problems. What I mean by that is that you come in, we teach you how to breathe properly. It sounds kind of silly, but we teach you how to breathe normal again, and the proper techniques and to help you control your breathing. We exercise. We have you to get on treadmill, a bike, and different types of equipment. The stronger we make your muscles, the less work your heart and lungs have to do. It's like you reversed the breathing problem, but you didn't. You made the rest of the body work more efficiently. So you're masking the problem, but your quality of life is a lot better. You can become active again. You can do things again.
So the damage is going to be there. How important then would early detection be?
Extremely important. Like I said, this is a slow progressive disease. It gets worse as time goes on, but your doctor, your family doctor, your lung doctor, your pulmonologist, they can order breathing medicines for you, and they can get you into our pulmonary rehab or a pulmonary rehab that's close to you. And the stronger you keep your body, the stronger you keep your health, and the more active you're able to be.
And the sooner that you learn all of the techniques and being in the rehab to where that you can make a change with your body,
right,
the earlier is better, I would assume.
And your goal is, to be healthy.
And have that quality of life.
Correct.
And Mike, if I could add to that something Willie said earlier, touched on earlier, there's no cost to the miner to be tested.
Okay, that was going to be one of my questions.
That's paid out of the Department of Labor, the trust funds, that is funded by the tax on coal.
So there's no excuse.
There's no excuse not to be tested. In addition to that, it's my understanding also that the attorney fees are paid out of the same trust fund.
Correct.
So it costs this miner nothing to try. The second point is studies are showing that the way coal is mined today and the rock they go through, younger miners are coming down with the disease much sooner than the older miners. The miners in the 60s and 70s, compared to the guys today, it's more prevalent today. There's studies done by I think a radiologist or maybe a pulmonologist in Kentucky that shows complicated black lung is on the increase. So it's not only important for the older miners to get tested, but the younger miners to get tested and have a baseline.
Right.
One of the questions we get asked is how many people get awarded. Honestly, we don't have any good data on that. We do the testing, we submit the data, and we're done with it. We don't know if a miner gets the award or doesn't get the award. What I'm told is miners who test first time through, as many as 18% do receive the awards. I've read studies in the Charleston Gazette just this week that 1 in 5 miners has black lung. I've read studies that say 30% of coal miners will develop black lung in their career. So it's, as Willie said, it's a progressive disease. If you don't have it today, if you've worked in the mines long enough, you're probably going to have it in a few years. So it's important to get tested and find out where you're at.
You said something that I think is important too, is their first time trying. How many times? Because I think some people think that they only have one shot.
No, they can test as many times as they want to. Approximately every 13 months. There's some stipulations to that. They can take it a little bit sooner in other instances, but on average 13 months. And with what Dave was just saying was the black lung, or the coal mines, the improvement in technology allows them to separate the rock dust and coal dust at a much finer particle. So the smaller the particle, the deeper it gets into the lungs and the more damage it does. And so they are seeing a lot of people, even in their early 30s now, with complicated black lung and very complicated pneumoconiosis. Or silicosis. It's the same effect. Your lungs are being ate up by the rock dust and coal dust.
Yeah. Well, guys, tremendous amount of information. We've got about a minute. One more time. Give us the information for people to be able to call and get in contact and get the ball rolling for this.
You can contact us at Boone Memorial Hospital. The phone number is 304-369-8825.
Okay, and they can either talk to you or...
Correct, either myself or Amy.
Okay, and listen, folks, there's no reason to wait around, though. No reason to not do this. If you even have an inkling, remote thought in the back of your head, and if it's someone that you love, make sure that you get them tested. I mean, it could mean quality of life and longer life. Correct. As well. That's going to wrap things up for today's program. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you coming. Stick around because we've got Brandon doing his thing and so much more. That's coming up right around the corner.